When you go to portray a feeling in your cinematography, one of the first things that you do is think about what colour you want to use. Whether it's a blue to show the character is feeling down or an orange to show warmth and happiness, choosing the right colour is the most important aspect to displaying an emotion, unless you're shooting in black and white. In today's video, I want to look at how to use colour in your cinematography by talking about how to use it when shooting a film, such as what lighting you use, the sets that you build, as well as the clothing, and also how to choose the correct colour scheme. There are so many ways to use colour in film, from shining a light on a character, dressing them in certain outfits, or even placing them in a room. The list is endless, but how do you decide what is right for the scene? Well, first you need to establish the mood. Is the character sad? If so, try using a cooler gel when lighting them. It's subtle, but it will help subconsciously tell the audience that they should be feeling sorry for the character. You could also put them in a bleak room full of cooler colours from whites to even light greens, but that's also a stylistic choice that may not be right for the film. If you feel as though neither of those really help you get your point across, try dressing your actors in cooler clothes. Now, this is where you need to bring in a costume designer to properly create an outfit that both displays the character's feeling, but also doesn't look awkward on screen. But what if a character is feeling happy? Now, you could just mix all of the colours together, flash them on screen and be done with it. But for a more specific colour, orange is definitely one that helps show happiness in a scene. It's the colour of a sky at sunset, and the one that when you think back in time is the most vivid. It's also on the warmer end of the spectrum, which is the opposite of cold, which, as I just mentioned, represents sadness. What you don't want to do though is overuse colour in your scenes. For me at least, it's very important to keep certain colours to certain feelings in a film, otherwise they all just blend together and ultimately won't mean anything at all. I'll link a chart down below that can help you with deciding which colour should portray which emotion, but the best thing you can do is get out there and test those colours. There are several different types of colour schemes to choose from when designing with the lighting and even sets for your films. First of all, we have monochromatic schemes. This is when you use a certain colour and stick to very similar shades of it throughout the entire shot. For example, this scene in Birdman where Mike and Leslie are under the sheets, or even this scene in Children of Men where everything apart from the painting is some shade of white. Next, we have analogous schemes. This is very similar to monochromatic, but it allows for a more expansive range of colours. For example, everything from blue to green. A great example of this is in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, where Sophie is in the kitchen making a crochet. Wes Anderson's films are also full of this kind of colour palette, and it's especially noticeable in The Royal Tenenbaums. Complementary colours are probably the most common type of scheme, as well as being the one that you have most likely heard of before. The practice pretty much birthed the use of orange and teal, which is now the most famous colour grade in the world, being used in everything from the Bourne films to Mad Max. But another great example of this would be the famous scene from La La Land, where Emma Stone is in a yellow dress, contrasting with a mixture of orange and purple in the sky behind. The last scheme I want to talk about is the triadic scheme. This is where you use three relating, vibrant colours to create the perfect palette. A great example of this being in Inherent Vice, where Josh Brolin's character is at times surrounded by a bold orange, green and yellow. Ultimately, choosing what colour to use is extremely important, but making sure you are using the correct colour scheme to use is also something that you don't want to skim over, because it can often make or break your cinematography. Overall, spend some time when deciding what colours to use. Are they complementary? Do they convey a certain feeling when you are looking at them through the viewfinder? Does it flow with the film? These are all questions you should be asking yourself when on set. Apologies for no upload last week. I've been extremely busy with pre-production for 2 projects, but I should be able to get back to the weekly uploads soon enough. I hope you enjoyed today's video on how to use colour in your cinematography. If you found it informative, a like is appreciated, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.